Hi, welcome back to Dream Chasers, and today we have a very special guest. We have Angel Flores. Thanks for coming by, Angel.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Yes. So you don't make it back to Casa Grande much, do you?
No, not too much.
Yeah. So I was just with you yesterday because we hung the banner up in the cafeteria at CG Union for Arizona Cardinal Player of the Year for 2021.
Yeah.
So exciting. I mean, you've just done so much, and we're going to get into all of that, as well as being part of the 2021 champion football team for 4A for Casa Grande. And you know, yesterday I was thinking about how, I mean, really the whole town went to ASU. We were all there. I mean, there were kids, there were people who had graduated and taught, and you know, it was just great. So I'm sure that was just an indescribable feeling.
Yeah, it was a surreal feeling, for sure.
That's great. And then you ended up graduating early, right?
I did, yeah.
Awesome, to go up to NAU.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about that too. All right, so when you walk onto campus, what feelings come rushing back? I mean, you're in the cafeteria and, you know, you hadn't been there for quite a few years and stuff, so.
There's a bunch of feelings. It's just surreal to go back and kind of see everything. I had like different flashbacks of me and all my teammates eating at lunch and like just passing by through passing to different classes and stuff. So all those little flashbacks of me and my teammates and friends that I made over the years. So it was pretty cool to go back.
Yeah. Being part of football, especially, I've always played football, and you just have that camaraderie and brotherhood, and there's just nothing like it, right?
Yeah,
and you get to continue that. Yeah. So growing up in Casa Grande, did you always dream of playing football in college?
I did, yeah. That was like my biggest dream. I would remember like even going and running on the field by myself, like in my head, like this is what I want to do. Like I want to play college football. So that definitely motivated me and something I knew I've always wanted to do.
Right, a lot of manifestation, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So you graduated with a 4.0 from Casa Grande Union High School early. And so how did you balance, you know, athletics and the training and the working out and the mindset and all of that? And then you still, you know, had to deal with all the academic part of it. Was that hard for you? Did it come easy, or were you just explain about that?
It was definitely a little tough. I give a lot of credit to my mom. She's always like stayed on top of me about my grades and stuff, and she'll see a B or I'm getting low on a grade, and she'll like, hey, you gotta pick this up. And so she's always kind of driven me to always strive to get an A or better in the class. And I definitely had some great teachers at Union that helped me a lot along the way, so definitely give them a bunch of credit too. So it was tough balancing everything, but definitely worth it, putting in those extra hours and staying up a little later to study for tests. So
your mom's your biggest cheerleader.
Yeah, she is.
She's so sweet. So you talked about some teachers. Is there any teachers in particular that you kind of want to, you know, that you remember just being there for you and just kind of motivating you and, you know, helping you?
Yeah, there was definitely a bunch. All my teachers at Union were great. But Mr. David Carter, he was one that I've always remembered. Just a positive impact he had on me, and just like how nice of a person he was and how he carried himself. I always like kind of envisioned myself of wanting to be something like that. It's like when you walk in a room, it lights up, and you're like, okay, I know like this guy's like here to help everyone else around them. So that's something I definitely like watched him and try to develop myself into the person he is. Yeah,
that's so great. You know, relationships are so important. You know, I was a teacher for a long time, and you know, you build those relationships with your students, and it's great to hear how students actually remember those things. So so your path took you to NAU and then to Central Michigan University, where you are now. And so many students may think that changing directions might mean, you know, failure. Or what would you say to someone whose plans don't go as planned, and you know, to stay motivated?
It's always tough when our plans don't go as planned. I know for NAU it was kind of not exactly what I envisioned. But when I kind of look back on it now, it's like God teaching me something, and everything's not going to be a straight arrow. So just to continue to trust what He has and what He has planned for you is probably one of my bigger pieces of advice. Because it's always gonna come up, you know, failing and stuff like that. So just being able to put your head down and work and trusting God, I think is the biggest piece. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That's great. So you've earned your bachelor's degree. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You graduated when did you graduate with your bachelor's?
This past winter.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. And now you're pursuing your MBA.
Yeah.
All right, very good. And you're scheduled to graduate in December then?
In spring. This
Oh, in
upcoming spring.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. And so, why has education always been so important to you? I know that your mom stayed on top of you and stuff like that, but there's something inside of you that just kind of knows that education is really important.
Yeah, it definitely is. Just being able to have that knowledge and that background. As you're a teacher and you teach people, and it's just being able to know what you're doing and stuff like that, and having a clear path and stuff. And not saying that people who don't have an education can't make it in life, but it definitely makes the path a lot straighter. And overall, just having that knowledge just helps so much. And that's something I've always like really tried to keep in my head is like, hey, like I need to learn this, I need to stay on top of this, just being able to set myself up for a better future.
Yeah, very good. I was able to see your brother Hugo yesterday, and he's going to be earning his associate's degree in December.
Yeah.
And he's had a lot of setbacks too. He recently underwent a heart transplant, and so thankful that everything with that went great. And I know that that was hard for your family and stuff like that. But I had him as a student, and he always really looked up to you. You were his role model. I remember seeing him on the sidelines of the football, and just that you have that impact on him too. I'm sure part of him earning his degree and finding education so important is a lot due to you. So that's great too. So what are your goals after college?
Hopefully play football as long as possible.
Yeah.
So whatever that road leads to, or whatever God has in store for me. So hopefully play football as long as possible. And then I want to get into like the strength and conditioning side of it once I'm done. So I got my undergrad in exercise science.
Oh,
and so,
wonderful.
Yeah, so hopefully do like the strength and conditioning route with collegiate for a couple years, and then do sort of like private somewhere here in Arizona. So eventually want to move back. Don't know yet where, but yeah, I want to move back here, and then those are kind of like the plans so far right now.
Yeah, I'm sure your family's really happy about that. So speaking of football, like my son, you are, and myself, you're a huge Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
That's right.
And I remember, when you had number 7, when you guys had youth football, and you got it because Big Ben has number 7. But I read somewhere something about, was it your grandfather or something that watching football with him and stuff like that?
Yeah, my grandfather, he would put it on every Sunday, so he would invite our uncles, our cousins over to his house, and we'll watch the Steeler games and stuff. And ever since I can remember, he was dressing us up in Steeler jerseys, and so I've been in the Roethlisberger jersey, I want to say, just my whole life. So that's the reason why I wear 7, like you said.
So your first game playing for Central Michigan University was where?
It was in the Steeler Stadium. That's
right, because Pitts plays there. And so what was that feeling like? Did you get to really just look around and take in all of that?
I definitely did, yeah. It was a crazy feeling just realizing that I was watching the stadium like ever since I was extremely little. Like me and my whole family watched that stadium on TV, watching all those great players. So being able to step on the same field as all those legends, it was really cool.
Yeah, you haven't watched a Steeler football game in that stadium yet, right?
I haven't. I need to. I want to so bad.
All right, Pittsburgh Steelers. We're gonna send this to them. We need some tickets,
That's
right?
right.
Yeah. So, all right. So how about some fun questions? What is a pre-game song that kind of gets you pumped up for the game?
So I'm more of like a mellow guy before games. So I don't really like to get too high. So something I listen to a lot of Drake. So Western Road Flows is definitely one of those pre-game songs for me. Just a nice, easy, soothing song that I really enjoy listening to.
Yeah, very good. What about a favorite place to eat in Casa Grande?
There's so many, but I would probably have to go to Barrow's Pizza. And the Barrows too. They were our coaches, and they were awesome, and they would always hook it up. So they would always have pizza and stuff for us, and they really took care of us in high school.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah, Jake Barrow was your high school football coach, so very good. What about either a favorite quote or a piece of advice that you would like to share? That's something that you've kind of always, had in the back of your head.
Yeah, something that really stuck with me that I wish I learned sooner was not to compare yourself to anyone else, because comparison is a thief of joy.
It sure is.
So being able to focus on your path and your development on what you're doing, becoming the best version of yourself is probably the biggest and best
Yeah.
piece of advice I've ever received. I remember in high school, I always like look at other guys in my class and, oh, why does he have this offer, that offer, and why, and that would take away from me like blocking the blessings that I have right in front of me, and not really focusing on what I can do to be a better version of myself. So that's what I would probably say for a piece of advice.
Yeah, that's really great. Well, again, thank you so much for coming in. We wish you the absolute best. I mean, I just know no matter what you do, you're gonna go far, and we're behind you. Casa Grande's behind you. So thank you so much for taking time, and hope you have a great day, everybody.